Well, if this video had a theme, it would be clay is hard to dig. We're still seeing so many in here that are gonna make such good food for us. I've got a monster right here. Yeah, I do. That is 100% the kind of sweet potato we need to get in this harvest. Guten yarning, everybody. Well, I was just in here at the community garden harvesting over 200 pounds of winter and summer squash. And I'm back today to get these sweet potatoes out of here. Now, this is the first time we've tried growing sweet potatoes in our community garden. It's the first time we've had the space to do this. And you can see some of these are still nice and green, but a large part of them got hit by a frost. Let me show you what that frost does to our sweet potatoes. The sweet potato leaves, they just die back. They turn black almost instantly. And that's enough to make me know that I need to get these out of this bed right away. Now, the area that these sweet potatoes are growing in is about 5 feet by 9 feet. Now, here's what happens when that winter squash hides from you. Look at this. We got another one in here to harvest. All right. Now, not every single one of these sweet potato slips survived planting. There were a couple that I put in here that were a little on the smaller side, maybe a little less healthy at the time of planting. And that's not usually a good idea. I mean, sometimes they can recover, but in this case, some of them along the edges didn't do as much. Now, I have absolutely no idea how well these sweet potatoes are gonna perform. This being the first time we've tried to grow them in this soil and, you know, with all of this weed competition that we've been dealing with, and we'll see what kind of impact that had on these sweet potatoes. But for right now, what I wanna do is I'm gonna get these greens clipped up and out and clear this off so you can actually see what this bed looks like with all this uncovered. All right, I'm gonna show you something. This is part of what I'm seeing here, and I don't know if this is indicative of anything else, but the greens themselves don't seem to be as sturdy. They don't seem to be as thick, and they don't seem to be as long as the ones we have at home. Well, we'll see what that indicates. I have no idea. Again, I love the idea that this is the first time growing out here, but I can't wait to see what's actually underneath the surface. All right, you can see behind me, I've got the bed pretty much cleared out the way I want it to be. But now's the time where I've got a couple of questions that I've got to figure out. One, you know, we know the typical pests that we have at home. Voles typically do the most damage to our sweet potatoes, and I have no idea if that kind of pest is out here or not. I know there are rabbits in this area, but I haven't really seen much digging in here. So we'll see that once we get into this. We truly don't have an idea as to what's below the surface here, if we're gonna get much production at all. And I'm really, really hoping that we do. Well, I'm hoping you can see this. I'm gonna try my best to show you, but you see how my hand is moving up slope? That's because I mounded this sweet potato bed about 6 or 8 inches. And I did that because the soil out here, much like our soil at home, is pretty clay, and I wanted to try to make this a little bit of an easier harvest when we got down to it. That being said, we're gonna go get a shovel right now and see if we can get started digging on the exterior, because there's no way I'm gonna be able to get all this done by hand. All right, I'm gonna start right here at the edge, pop the soil up here, and I'm gonna start separating it out. Here's our first scoop up, and our first sweet potato. This is a centennial sweet potato. Our first sweet potato of our community garden experience. Not massive, but again, that's right on the edge, and that's what I was talking about. Right on the edge is where a lot of our sweet potato slips actually didn't make it. Wow, take a look at the soil here. You see that? You see the clay? That's what we're dealing with here. And they add some really nice compost every year, but that is some, wow. That is some clay soil. All right, let's continue further in. All right, we're uncovering the next bit here. This seems to be a good bit larger. Well, this one, there you go. It's another centennial. This one, not so much, but let's see what we got right here. We've got to be gentle. You remember, if you watched our last sweet potato harvest video, sweet potatoes can break pretty easily, especially when you're growing them in this clay soil. So anytime we have a sweet potato that's a little bit longer, there it is. That's what we need. I need a whole bunch of these. Isn't that a beautiful sweet potato right there? That's the way. If we can get this kind of production across this bed, I'm gonna be an incredibly happy person. All right, I'm gonna use a mixture of shovel action and using my hands in here. There we go. One thing I do not want to do is to damage these sweet potatoes as they're coming out. Really, we'd like to be able to store these inside for as long as possible. Here we go. The size of these so far, not overwhelmingly large, but nice and healthy sweet potatoes. When it comes to this time of year, one thing we do not want is any kind of damage from moisture. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. You see all that splitting in there? That can happen with a big rain, a lot of moisture over a short period of time. Now during this process, I did come out here and feed these twice. You know, when you're working in a soil you're not familiar with, we kind of go by the same standard as best we can and the soil testing. And I would say that I'm definitely seeing a couple of really nice sweet potatoes so far. Definitely the digging in here is going to be a workout. And we are seeing some of these roots, you know, just didn't really bulb up. This is a good example of one that had the potential, but didn't really go anywhere. But again, let's just keep going in here, seeing if we can find, like right in here, some nicer sweet potatoes. There's one right there. That's gonna be pretty nice as well. And the ones that I'm into right here, these are actually our Vardaman. Some more of the Vardaman, just like we grew in our front yard and space. Take a look at this one I just pulled up. First of all, it looks like it's resprouting, but also there's some rotting or what looks to me like a little bit of animal damage. So whatever pest is out here, and the rest of it is in pretty good shape. But yeah, it's already starting to sprout again as well. Well, now different varieties actually seem to split at different rates, if that makes sense. Like some of these seem to be more prone to splitting, and it looks like in this instance, our Vardaman back here is splitting a lot more than the one out front. Now, granted, we're just getting started into here, and so I can't really say fully, but you know, when you see a sweet potato splitting like this, that means that you're gonna have to eat it pretty quickly because it doesn't have nearly the storage capacity of one that doesn't have any of that damage. Let's get this back here. Some pretty consistent size though with these, about single serving. So no massive sweet potatoes yet, but the ones that I'm pulling out here that are, you know, a little bit nicer are about that, you know, it's perfect. Oh, there we go. Perfect for one person. So there shouldn't be very much waste. All right, let's take a look at what came off this one slip. And I think what I have in my hand right here is just a little bit under a pound. So we'd still like to get more from each of our slips. So I've decided one of the easiest things to do here with these is to kind of dig way underneath and then let them pop out like this. It's a lot easier than trying to go at it head on. This clay is tight. This is some really, really dense clay. I really like uncovering all this color in here, the different colors of sweet potatoes, the different flavors and tastes of sweet potatoes. Beauties. Now, I have mentioned that some people like to wait until the frost kills back the plant before they harvest it, but my research indicates that once the soil temps hit about 50 degrees, you run the risk of really damaging your sweet potatoes. So again, that's why we like to get them out before that happens. Well, I'm breathing hard. I'm like maybe a fifth of the way through this harvest. Take a look at the piles of soil I've moved so far just to get through there. And I've still got all of this left to harvest. This is some work, some serious work when you're dealing with clay. Oh, here we go. A little one. There we are. Well, that's nicer. There you go. That's a nice sweet potato. Okay. All right. You know, I really don't mind getting out here and doing this work, especially when these are the results. But what I hate to see happen is my own doing here. I just shoveled right through that. That's why I don't love using a shovel or even a fork for these things, but when it's this much clay, I really don't have any other options. Just to try to be as careful as possible. Yeah, I don't want to wreck any of these sweet potatoes. Every single one of them we need. every single one of them. All right, I just uncovered this one. It looks like it might be the nicest one so far, or at least pretty close to it. You'd love to see that, you really do. Anytime you're harvesting and you're getting a bunch of the smaller ones, you get some of those really nice sized sweet potatoes. That's just a good feeling, a great feeling, really. And again, I'm not calling this an experiment necessarily because we've grown other things successfully out here, but this is our first time attempting to grow sweet potatoes in this place. And so really, when you're not sure what to expect in a crop like this, a root crop where you've got to wait over 100 days to see the results, anytime you're getting some bigger sweet potatoes or bigger results out of here, that's just an absolute positive. And try not to break anything, but look at that. It's like rock hard clay. I am pulling out these chunks. I'm looking forward to our sweet potato harvest from our biggest bed at home, because even though I don't know how big those sweet potatoes are going to be, I know for a fact that the mix that we have them in is not like this. For those of you that are watching right now, I got to tell you how much I appreciate you coming out and watching our videos and hopefully enjoying them with us, enjoying these harvests. One thing that we try to do in all of our harvest videos is to bring you up close to the harvesting action so you can really experience it right along with us. And we'd love to know if that's the style of video you like. Do you like us bringing you right along, right up close, so you can see the actions we're trying to dig through all this clay? Let us know in the comments. I'm going back and forth between shovel types here, trying to determine which ones are going to get me in here and get the best results of moving this soil out of the way. And I'm also hoping, and I'm breaking these apart typically, but I'm hoping I'm not missing any sweet potatoes in these massive blocks of dirt. I don't think I am. Well, if this video had a theme, it would be clay is hard to dig. That's our main theme from this for sure. But beyond that, if we could keep these sweet potatoes from splitting a little bit, that'd be really helpful. They're not all doing it, but certainly some more than others. I feel like those people that go mining for gold, and then they're kind of clearing out the bank, spraying it away. I'm just digging sideways now with my shovel, trying to get in here past all of this. There you can see the shadows kind of in the way, but there's one right here too. A couple of nice ones. Just trying to get past this clay at this point and just trying to expose what's down in here to the best of my ability. And we do have quite a few of these that are really nice size. I'm going to say that multiple times because though we're not getting some of those monsters, those 2-pounders, we're still seeing so many in here that are going to make such good food for us all winter long. This one may take over. Oh, it definitely will, for being the biggest one we've harvested so far. But if I could get a whole bunch just like this. I did mention we had a whole bunch of rain all at once, but that's been about a week and a half ago. And this soil is still really, really damp. So one thing about clay like this is it's not really well draining soil. And so I think that also plays a role in seeing some of the splitting that we're having in here. Yeah, there we go. That's the one that I just saw. And then there's another one right here. It looks like it's even bigger. Yeah, this one's dug nicely into there. There we go. A couple of nice ones right in there. Well, in my opinion, gardening takes a couple of things. It takes energy, because I don't think there's much of anyone who will tell you that there's not a good bit of work involved when it comes to growing your own food. But besides energy, you also need the ability to be willing to be excited for a fantastic harvest. Every time I see one of these sweet potatoes, every time I harvest one of our potatoes, that's just another time for me to feel excited about the food that we're getting in here, all this organic food that we're growing on our own. That's what gardening brings. That's just one of the things gardening brings. Take a look at this. Another beauty. This is the payoff. Oh, look at it. There are so many more in here. This is the payoff for what we do at the beginning, all that hard work that goes into setting this up, this is part of the payoff. Of course, the other part of the payoff is our ability to eat this amazing food, this deliciousness. But one thing you can't do when it comes to gardening is to give up easily. You can't do that. You got to keep trying, keep striving as you're getting your harvests in. Keep striving for better and better results. It's going to happen. You know, the garden will from time to time give you reason to be frustrated. Maybe things don't turn out the way you want them to. What on earth is that? Look at all those worm creatures. Look at all those worm looking things on there. I have no idea what that is. If anybody knows, let us know in the comments. One thing's for sure, that sweet potato is not coming home with us. Wow. If you can allow yourself to get past those bits of frustration, what you'll find is the harvests, the intake of all that food that you've grown yourself, well, that's going to shove that frustration right out of your mind, and you'll be good to go for the next growing season. All right, now I have seen a couple of these in here, so that pretty much confirms that out here we have our voles as well. This looks identical to the vole damage we get at home, so we're not escaping them here. All right, we are more than halfway done at this point, and it's still slow going, but I'm seeing, I mean, this is a beautiful sweet potato. I just felt that I had chopped it just a little piece off the end. That's so sad, but that is an absolutely magnificent sweet potato. So that just means that the ones I chopped, if I've chopped one or two of them, we got to eat those right away. There are worse things that could be the punishment for that. All right, let's excavate this one. See the shadow cutting off the bottom so you can't see how big it is, but I can. Here we go. This one, my favorite so far. Well, I accidentally just ripped these out, and I gotta say, this shape right here, this kind of roundish, not too long shape, this is actually my favorite shaped sweet potato. I think it's just perfect for just about anything. What is your favorite shape of sweet potato? I tell you what, when I'm done here today, I'm gonna be like that somewhat famous music star. I'm gonna be Clay Aiken. Well, I love pulling up on one of these slips that is just a better yield or a better producer. We know that not all slips are created equal. We get that, but it just feels really good when you approach one that is going to be a better producer. It's going to give you a product like this. I mean, look at those two right there. Think about all the different ways we could use this. This is such a versatile crop. And speaking of dinner, take a look at what we have left. See if you can guess how long I've been out here harvesting, digging around for this treasure and harvesting. If you can guess it, leave a comment. Oh, our new biggest one. Well, okay, I could tell already that this slip right here is a great producer. Look at that. Look at those. That is absolutely fat. Oh, there's another one right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I could take that all day. But if you can guess how long I've been out here harvesting and leave it in the comments, I'll let you know if you're right. There's another beauty right here. Well, the reality is, it doesn't really matter how long I've been out here. I've been enjoying myself. I've been enjoying this hard work the whole time. Well, I'm actually feeling pretty good about this harvest overall. Would I have liked to have seen more of the bigger sweet potatoes? Absolutely. And would I have liked to have seen less of them chewed up like that? Sure, but I will tell you, I'm pulling, oh, here's another nice one right here. I'm pulling a lot of nice food out of here. Let's be honest. I got quite a bit here in terms of sweet potato that we're pulling out of this bed that we're growing in for the first time. When I think about those beds that we have at home, and granted they're raised beds there, we'll see how well they produce this year, but when I think about the ease of harvest there, I think maybe that's the way to go, since we're not getting so many of the massive ones here. Well, I just uncovered this one too. It is awesome. I've got a monster right here. Yeah, I do. That is 100% the kind of sweet potato we need to get in this harvest. Looks like some nice ones living right here on the edge. Man, if those voles hadn't gotten in here though, huh? But right here, yep, these are nice. Oh, okay, that one's decent, but this one, yepers. There you go. Well, folks, that was a fun harvest. Let's go ahead and see the overall results for this bed. Well, there you go, folks. Look at this pile of deliciousness. Would we have liked to have harvested more of these bigger ones? Absolutely. But you know what? I'm not going to complain one bit because that is a nice harvest.
Listen, if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give us a like, leave us a comment, remember to share and subscribe, and most importantly, remember, when you're with us, you are good to grow.